Good, thank you. That was a good question. Yes, Lupin.
Yep. Well, first of all, thank you for the autographs yesterday.
My pleasure.
2 questions regarding the series. I believe you were the ADR.
Director?
Yes, something
On
like that.
Lupin? Yes.
Yeah. How did you become that?
I've directed a lot of stuff. And the directing happened pretty much the way I got my voice job. The guy said, have you done this before? I've done it a million times. And I got the directing. And then I just wound up doing a bunch of it. But actually, the first thing I directed was a thing called Captain Schnauzer, which was a really beautiful cartoon from Hungary that nobody wanted to do it because it was, first of all, it was like 2 hours long, and it was really talky. And it was like nonstop talking. And the whole movie was about the economic situation in Hungary. And I said to the clients, I said, do you mind if I change this and make it different? He said, do whatever you want. So I just took all that out and I made it a comedy. And I just put in all kinds of jokes and they loved it. And they showed it on Showtime and it was a big hit. And then they came back with a series called Swiss Family Robinson, which I directed that one too and wrote. So from there, and then I started doing Academy Award winning films like Cinema Paradiso, Belle Epoque, Eat, Drink, Man, Woman, all these other things that I was writing and directing English adaptations for and doing the ADR. So on Lupin, I was the director, and I wasn't supposed to play Jigen originally. We had a bunch of people audition for it. They never heard a Jigen that they liked. And we auditioned, and we auditioned, and they just never liked Jigen. And finally, the producer said to me, Richard, why don't you go in there and read it? Let's see what it sounds like. So I went in and read a few lines and said, that's perfect. We want you to do Jigen. And I'm so glad it worked out that way. It's worked out that way, actually, for me for a number of series. No One was the same thing, and Fighting Spirit, I played the coach on that. And like I say, not to be facetious, but I really do enjoy working with myself as a director because it's easy. I go in, I know what I want, I get it done, and it actually works out well for them too because if there's times other actors can't be there, I can just jump in the booth and record my stuff. So it actually kind of works out well. And Lupin was a great show. My big thing with Lupin is they had a writer doing the show. And I would change some of the stuff sometimes. And the writer was very good friends with the producers, so he would go and sit in on the QC at the end, the final QC, where they watch it down. And he would have put his jokes back in. And so, that doesn't usually happen. Usually the director is the final say on that stuff, but because he was friends with him, he got to do that. So that was a little weird on that show, that particular thing. But Lupin's great. I love Lupin. Unfortunately, we started to do another batch of them, and then Genion went belly up, so we weren't able to. And I hope I would love to do some new Lupins where they kind of updated, because the ones we did were like from the 70s. They were kind of old ones. And I would love to do like a whole new version of it, and just, because I think our voice cast was stellar on that.
Actually, you just answered my second question about what had happened to the series after 79 episodes. You said Jenny went belly up.
But we did do 100-something episodes of that show, and Cartoon Network shows the same 13 episodes over and over and over, and I'm going, you guys, there's like a bunch of these shows, why don't you show them? And they just, Cartoon Network, I hate them. I hate them. Not that I'm bitter or anything. Next question?
Yes, I'm a huge fan of Kingdom Hearts and Ansem. I was wondering, by any chance, if you could recite one of Ansem's lines.
What is it you're wearing?
I'm Anti-Sora from Kingdom Hearts 2.
Okay, all right, sure. I should know that, I guess. Huh? What line would you like?
How about...
Don't make it long. I have a very short-term memory here.
What?
I love these guys.
Whatever
Can you do this
one
line
you
from the
think
show,
of.
and they give me like 14 paragraphs, and it's like, I said, maybe if you write it down, I could.
Whatever your favorite line is.
Well, what is your favorite line?
Mine was probably the battle between Ansem and Sora at the end of the game.
And what does he say?
Can't remember.
Well, that makes two of us. What is it? He doesn't say that. All right, I'll say that as Ansem. 5 minutes! How's that?
Yeah, guys, we got time for about 2 more questions. If anyone hasn't asked a question yet and has a good good question from Mr. Richard Epcar. Let me go with this gentleman right here.
But I hope my question's good. I've heard from a lot of people, just in commentaries, that they don't usually keep up with the stuff they work on. Do you watch, enjoy any series you've done, played any of the Kingdom Hearts games or any other games you've ever done?
You know, I actually do not. I try to watch some of the stuff. I try to watch some of the Ghost in the Shell because it interests me. Not that the other stuff does not interest me, but the problem is we just don't have a lot of time. You know, it's like people always say, "Do you play the games you're in?" And it's like I would love to, but I don't really have the time to do it. And it would be cool one day. I've yet to see Mortal Kombat versus DC Universe. The only thing I've seen of it is the little snippets on YouTube, of my characters. So that's kind of fun. At least I can kind of see my characters and hear them and see the animation, and that's kind of fun for me. But once in a while, they'll give us the games, and once in a while they'll give us the shows. But believe me, it's rarer than it happens, unfortunately. So, like I said, it took me like 20 years to see Ninja Scroll, So I'm not always on top of seeing all this stuff. And in many ways, you guys know more about these shows than I do because we go in and we do our lines and then we leave. And you guys watch the show, so you know the plot, you know the characters, you know what happens. And so sometimes you know better than I do. When I direct it, of course, I know it because I watch the whole show from the beginning to the end, and I'm directing it, so it's a little different story that way. But with the voice stuff, we basically go into our characters. Unless it's original animation, and original animation is different in that, like for the Avatar game that I'm doing, not game, the Airbender show that I'm doing, we're recording in group. So it's like a radio play, basically. You go in there and record with the other actors, which is wonderful, because then you get to hear the other actors and you get to actually react to them and talk to them and perform with them. So that's really wonderful. Much better way to do it.
Hi. So there's no doubt who.
I've seen you before.
Yes, I have.
How you doing?
There's no doubt who all of our favorite voice actors, but who's yours in a brief while?
I really like Peter Cullen. I think he's great. And I was so happy for him when he got into the movie Transformers because there's no question in my mind. They should have just given him the part, and they put him through hell to give him that part. And Michael Bay kept going, well, he's just a voice actor. We need a real actor. And it's like, he's the best thing in that movie as far as I'm concerned. I really like him, his voice, and I love. Just went blank on Venture Brothers, the Tick. What's his name? The guy. Patrick Warburton, I love him. He's hilarious. In fact, I'm pissed because I want to play Brock Sampson, and he took that part, that rat. But he does a great job with it. He's very funny. But yeah, those are like two of my favorite guys. They're just really, really talented. And of course, the late great Mel Blanc, who kind of started all this stuff, and he was an amazing guy.
Richard Epcar, we have time for one more question, so I'm going to let you point out who you think.
Who has not asked a question? Who wants to ask questions? Or yes. The microphone.
I want to know if you dream or have nightmares and all the voices that you do.
You guys think I'm really messed up, don't you? No, not generally, but once in a while, I will get, if I'm really ensconced in something, I will have some weird stuff. I'll dream about some weird stuff sometimes. I remember when I first started doing this work as a director and writer, and basically you're in a booth, you're in the studio for 8 hours a day, and you're watching the lip sync on the characters. I found myself starting to look at people to see if they were in sync or not when they talked. Oh, we got to bump him up 2 frames. He's out of sync. So that was a little weird, And thankfully that phase passed. But but yeah, sometimes you work on some crazy stuff sometimes, and more and more the older I get, the more I want to pass on things that, if it's something I find disdainful, like we had our company had an offer to do a job for Miramax for it was a horrible movie. It was about young girls getting tortured and beaten, and I'm going, I don't want to work. First of all, I don't want to see it. I don't want to work on it. I don't even think this crap should be, shown anywhere, quite frankly. So we just passed on it, and more and more I'm just kind of doing that just because I don't want to. There's been a couple of movies I worked on, and the images are really strong in your mind. And there was one movie I worked on a long time ago, and I'm really sorry I worked on it. I wish I had not worked on it. And it was a true story, and it was about a young girl who was tortured and tortured to death, actually. And it was a true story, and it just haunts me to this day. And I wish I'd give anything. I'd give the money back if I could take that image out of my head. So sometimes it's just not worth it. I think it was called True Crime in America was the name of the film, I think. It's horrible. Just horrible. It still gets to me. It still bothers me. And those are the times I really want to become Bateau and go beat the crap out of those guys. Yeah.
We come to the end of our time. If you guys would like to see Richard Epcar more, he's going to be doing an outtake panel tonight at 10:30, which I definitely recommend. It's a very small room, so if you want to see it, get there early because it's going to fill up real quick. Also, Richard will be doing a couple of things tomorrow. He'll be doing the voice actor roundup, and he'll be doing the director roundtable. So if you'd like to see Richard further, you can see him at that time. At this time, I have been asked to let you guys know that they are going to clear the room before they let the next thing that's coming in here, Evangelion. But for one last time, give it up for Richard Epcar.
Thank you guys very much. You've been great, and thank you for coming out. I appreciate it.